Hi, I'm Kacey. I'm a full-time UGC creator and last month I made £6,500 from UGC. I recently asked my Instagram followers what their biggest struggles were with UGC and what they feel like they need advice on, so today we're going to be answering as many of those as possible. And I thought we could try to multitask and also get ready together. Cannot do my makeup when my hair is in my face, so we need to get that out of the way. Okay, so the first question I've been asked is, what should you post when you don't have any brand deals? And I think this is a great question because so many people think that to get inbounds and to be a UGC creator, all you have to post is UGC examples. The first very low effort thing that I tend to do when I don't really have much work come in is look back at all of the old pieces I've created and see whether I can put like a montage together. There's quite a few trending ones. It's like the creator versus the content. It could be just like recent snippets from UGC examples I've created. Obviously, we don't want all of our pieces of content to just be B-roll with a trending audio. So also some talking to camera bits could be good, whether that's providing some education, I don't know, doing a PR haul. It could just be speaking about your opinion on something in the UGC space. Then the videos that take a bit more effort are like the routine videos, the morning routine videos, you know, day in the life, but they are so good for showing brands how you can authentically integrate their product into your routine. So if you do have the time, then that is one that I would really recommend doing and posting. And then don't forget, something I still do all of the time is just film my own content for the fun of it. Whether this is me getting ready, whether this is me doing a blowout, washing my hair, doing my makeup, doing anything really. The more you can film and the better quality content you can get when you're just practicing, the better. Remember, brands don't want to go onto your page and just see a page full of heavily branded content, because they want to know that you have a personality and can share things about you that are unique. The second question I have is, how do you negotiate retainers? Now, this is a really big one. As we all know, retainers are super important for stable income and actually making sure that UGC is a stable job for you. One thing with retainers, I would say, is that you really can't force them. For example, I wouldn't recommend on your first time working with a brand then pitching a retainer, because you need to build up more credibility with them first. Personally, what I like to do is to do maybe 3 or 4 collaborations with a brand, and if they all go well and the brand's really happy, that's the point where I will go in and pitch a retainer. And there's quite a few points I like to bring in when pitching the retainer, rather than just pitching it as, I want to work with you every single month. You could make the point that since you've worked with them multiple times already, you understand their tone of voice, you understand how they like their content, and also you already have probably a lot of their products if you've already worked with them a few times, meaning they don't have to ship these out to new creators. And then also just reiterating your value, like sending them the posts that you've already done for them that have performed really well, or if your ad for them say performed really well, reminding them of the really good analytics you got them. A lot of people try and get retainers by just offering really cheap budgeted packages, and personally this isn't the way I like to do it, because if I'm working with a client every single month, I want to make sure it's worth my time, worth my energy. So it's not all about making it cheaper, it's just about making them see the value. Okay, then someone asked, how do you find higher paying clients? When it comes to higher paying clients, the first thing I would honestly recommend doing is getting off platforms. Platforms, in my opinion, are really good at getting your foot in the door, but in my experience, they don't have the highest paying deals. I think I've gone from charging around £150 near the start of my UGC journey per video to around £500 per video, sometimes £300, obviously depending on the usage. I think that comes from just making your content a really high quality and making sure that every time you post it's with a quality that you're happy with. Because now all of these big deals for me, they come through either repeat clients or inbounds, and they are people who have seen my Instagram, seen the vibe, seen how I create content and my aesthetic, and they love it, and they're willing to pay a premium price to get that delivered to them too. So for me, my highest paying clients, they haven't come from platforms, they haven't come from pitching, it's come purely from building a really strong personal brand and having an aesthetic that stands out that brands want to pay for. This one's sort of similar. It's, what are the best place to find campaigns? Like, do you pitch directly or do you use platforms? Again, if you're just starting out, I'd recommend platforms because they are good for getting your foot in the door. And I would say if you have the time for it and you're happy with the content quality that you're producing and the content quality in your portfolio, then you can start pitching. Those are the two ways I'd say of actually going out and finding work if it's not coming to you. But again, for me, the best way to find campaigns is just to let them come to you. And the way you do that is by obviously building your personal brand, posting on Instagram, posting on TikTok, and letting the work find you. I actually really like this question. It's not a very common question I get asked, and it's what's the best equipment that you have used? I wouldn't say that the setup I use is fancy at all. I use like a £30 Amazon tripod, obviously my DJI mics when the brand requests it or when they want mic'd content. I also use a clip-on mirror sometimes which clips onto my tripod so I can see myself while I'm filming. But in terms of actually having high quality content, I don't think it comes from the equipment. I think it comes from the skill. I think it comes from your vision, and I just think it comes from your knowledge. Like for example, if you have natural light flooding in from a window, you want to place your camera in front of the window so the light's coming onto your face rather than having your back to the light. This one piece of advice alone can take your content from looking like it was filmed in a microwave to looking like it's premium. And then just the other little things as well, like learning what actually looks aesthetic, what you actually want in the shot, the angles you want to film from. So for me, it's not really about the equipment, it's about knowing what to do. And I also film on my iPhone 17 Pro. We also have how do you find brand emails. Now I don't actually pitch anymore, so I don't know if there's maybe a new and improved way that people do this. But when I was pitching, the main way I found emails was through DMing the brand on Instagram first, explaining who I am, why I want their marketing email. And a lot of the times that was successful. But sometimes brands' DMs are restricted, meaning you can't do that. So if that was the case, I would use Bento. I used Bento for a bit, but now I do find that it's quite oversaturated and the same creators are emailing the same brands every single day. So a lot of creators actually get marked as spam when they pitch on Bento, from my experience and from what other people have told me. This could be completely false. It could just be a small minority, but obviously because they have all the same brands on there, all the creators on that platform are going to be pitching to those. How long did it take you to land your first paid deal? So to land my first paid deal, so I started properly posting in September 2023, and then I think I got my first paid deal in November. So is that what, 2 months? When should I start pitching? I honestly don't think there's a right or a wrong time to start pitching. Like, I don't think it should be 2 months in, 3 months in. Like, I don't think it's that particular. I just think that you need to be at a stage where you can look at your content and think, yeah, I would pay for that. Because if you wouldn't pay for your own content, then why would anybody else? So whenever you just feel confident enough in your ability and to actually pitch that ability, that's when you should start pitching. Then someone said, how many hours do you work to make 5 to 6k on average? I'm not going to sugarcoat it because some weeks are really bloody quiet, and they're the months where you might have a lower month. Maybe you make a bit less, but then the higher months make up for it. So when I'm having like a quiet period, I do try to work on other things, but of course you're not going to be working as much because at the end of the day, filming is the most time consuming thing. This week I'd say I've worked around 6 hours a day. Like yesterday I literally finished at 10 p.m. because I had an evening concept to film. But then other days, if I'm taking it slower or I want to go and spend some time with my friends or my boyfriend, I could literally work a 3-hour day. So it's not really set hours. I think the most I've worked in a day is like 10 hours because I was just on a roll that day and I had loads to get done. But on average I'd maybe say 4 or 5 hours a day. Like, I don't go crazy with it. What is your UGC scripting process? I am going to do a video breaking this down into more detail because I simply just couldn't explain it all now and get the value across to you. But the main thing is it has to have emotion woven into it, so it actually connects, resonates with the audience, and it has to be authentic. I don't want to be hearing words that are like game changer, life changing, because it's just so salesy. So first of all, I speak my ideas out loud because I actually want the script to sound like it's come from me. A lot of the times I do a big blur of all the benefits, all the USPs, all the points I want to include. I take this blur and actually sort it into a structured script. The main things I say is obviously you need your hook, you need some sort of storytelling, so maybe explaining your problem or explaining how you found the product, some sort of story that's going to resonate. You obviously need a clear problem, and then when you started using the product, what was the payoff, what was the benefit? And then within these parts, you just weave in emotion of how you felt before the problem got solved and then how you feel now. And then if it's an ad, end with a call to action, whether this is a soft CTA, which is a bit more light, or a hard CTA, which is more go buy this now from XXX. Then we have how do you build a personal brand. Again, this is something I want to go into in a bigger, longer video because it is not simple whatsoever. The easiest way I can put it is that your personal brand is just what people associate you with. So for me, I want to be associated with high quality premium UGC content. I want to be associated with a UGC creator that has really aesthetic visuals, really high quality visuals. But I want that to be paired with being authentic and actually being able to storytell, being able to talk to camera and making videos that convert. If you're an influencer, it goes into more, do you want to be known for beauty? Do you want to be known for lifestyle? Do you want to be known for wellness? But with UGC, I find that you really want to base your personal brand around the quality of your content and what type of content you create, rather than falling into the trap of I want to be known for beauty, because then you're doing more influencing. It could be that you're a UGC creator and you want to be known for your education because you're really knowledgeable in the space. It's really up to you. But going into how to build a personal brand, I'll go into that separately. How to land your first paid brand deal. If you feel like you're at the point where you've practiced enough and you're ready to get your first paid brand deal, first thing I'd do is be posting consistently all the time so that brands can come across your feed and hire you from there. I would also get yourself on some platforms, Incense, 12, Vidsy, and start applying for job opportunities on there. And then there's obviously pitching, so start pitching, emailing the type of brands that you want to work with. The last question I have is about tax and not understanding tax, and I myself am not a tax professional. Like, I've had a few tax returns, but I'm not really qualified to give tax advice. But if you go on the HMRC website, look at sole traders, self-employed, I'm sure you'll be able to get so much information over on there. But anyways, I would call this video a success because all I have left to do is my mascara and my lip combo. I hope you found this helpful and I hope I answered all your questions to the best of my ability. Have a lovely rest of your day and I'll see you in the next one.